I'm here to visit some trees, the gaharu trees to be more precise. Gaharu, or some people know it as the Aquilaria. That's quite a mouthful for me. So yeah, I'm here to visit a plantation, a working plantation. You know, I took for granted the gaharu tree. My father always spoke about this tree, but now that I'm here, I understand more about the tree. It's not so much about the wood. It's about what lies inside. Now, it's so special, it's so magical, this tree, that a certain bacteria has to inject itself into this tree and it produces this resin. And once this resin is distilled, it produces this extraordinary oil that is just amazing. It smells. If a lot of people who won't, necessarily are in tune with nature or with trees like how I was previously, if they remember the smell that most Middle Easterns wear, that perfume that they pray or they go for solats, and it's that fragrance, that particular smell, that is oud, and that oud comes from resin which is distilled from this tree. It's amazing. Everyone who knows me knows that I'm pretty much of a tree hugger. I try and do my best to sustain whatever we have on Mother Earth. However, a lot of the tree planting exercises that I do back home is just that. You plant the tree and you go off. You do your photo op. But for this, I really truly believe in it now that I'm part of it. I've seen it for myself, because it's not just planting a tree. It is also giving back to the community. It is also about an investment. So it makes a really good sense to someone who wants to be a part of it. And I can see why there's such a craze about this whole, investing in this tree. And when you look at the tree, when you see it from the small little sapling until it grows 7 years later, and what it can produce, that smell, and it's not just for fragrance. That's what I found out. It's not just for fragrance, it's for medicinal uses, and that's just wow. One guy who I managed to speak to, he actually told me that when they were doing research about this Aquilaria, they were looking for the best seeds, and he actually tried it out because they were in China and they were looking for the best seeds. He actually ate one of the seeds and it detoxified his own, his whole body. Of course, he kept on going to the toilet back and forth for an hour, but then after that he felt so much lighter, and then he could actually see that it really is an amazing product, and that is probably the reason why it is so high in value and so high in demand. And yeah, it's mind-boggling. I like the fact that Asia Plantation Capital, which is basically the company who is allowing investors to be part of this business model, I like the fact that they also are giving back to the community. I understand that there was a lot of illegal logging taking place, and I can't help them. I mean, being a farmer's daughter myself, I've seen how the orang kampung are, when they need money, they need money. If they have to resort to illegal logging, then so be it. But now they're giving them the opportunity to not just learn about, not just as an employee per se. They provide medical facilities, they're enhancing infrastructure. It's basically to give them, the quality of life and to make sure that there's an economic prospects for everyone involved. The children are given schools and educations, and they're able to plant crops around the Aquilaria trees, so then they can also use whatever they get from the crops to either feed their family or to sell in the market if there's extra. So it's great because you're teaching the community how important and how valuable this tree is. And with the technology that they're using right now, I mean, it's not just 7 out of 100 trees that are able to produce this resin naturally, but now with the technology that they can actually inject a special bacteria, now they can ensure that all the trees are able to produce this extraordinary oil. And like I said, it's like, there's that saying, you give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, but if you teach the man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. I mean, it's not exactly the same thing, but it's basically teaching the community and telling them that this is something that you need to do in order to sustain for a longer term, as well as for your environment. So, yeah. that the intentions, their niyat, is very sincere. Most corporate companies would do CSR, tree hugging, environmental projects such as this, merely as one, either to have tax deductible returns or whatever, or two, for a photo op so that they look good. But coming here, I can see that they really, really believe in this whole campaign, this project, and it's not just a one-off thing. It's definitely a business model that works out for everyone, including, of course, our environment. And I think this is something that other communities, other corporate companies should be doing in order to give back to our planet, which is already just suffering from us, man. When I first was doing a little bit of research prior to coming here, and I didn't know exactly how or what oud smelled like, but they gave me the description that it was very much of the perfume that most Middle Easterners like. So it's a very strong smell, something that I wasn't too comfortable with. However, coming here and smelling the natural one, because I found out much later that there are actually synthetic oud being sold out in the market, and that's possibly the reason why it may be a little bit too strong for some people. But for this one, it's strong, but it's subtle. I don't know how to even explain it. There's a few fragrances to choose from. The one that I've smelled personally is rose. It's delicious. It's sexy. It's seductive. It makes me want to go home to my husband as soon as possible, but yeah, it's very subtle. It's nothing like how I imagined it initially when I was reading about it in theory. Why not? I've been with the team for about 3 days now, and I am scrambling to find where I can find that just extra piece of money to invest in this. Even if I have to buy the minimum amount, I will try and look for that money. It's an excellent business model. It's giving back to the community, it's giving back to Mother Nature, and it's something that just works. There's no two way about it. It's a tree that produces a high valuable oil that is in need and is sellable, so it goes back. You just have to wait a while, surely, but my daughter, who's now 7, that just went just like that, so you should. Why not?